Hello, Booktube.
Hi, Booktube.
I'm Scott. This is Nelle. We are gunpowder.fiction.and.plot, and we are on location. Why are we on location now?
Because it's my birthday weekend. Yes. So we're in a hotel because we're away. Because it's my birthday.
And you probably can't quite see, but there is a spa behind us because that is what Nelle wanted to do for her
Yeah, I want
birthday
to float.
weekend.
That's all I want to do all weekend. is just suspend myself in water. So we're going to do that, and we're going to read some books. Oh, I should have brought my present. Oh, it's right there. I'll show you what my husband gave me. It's very pretty. See the necklace? That's my present.
But it's not quite your birthday. Your birthday's actually Sunday now. And you said to me way back in January, you said that for your birthday,
I'd like to reach 500.
And we're at 491. So we
So
need 9
nine
subscribers
in 2 days. Go on, people.
So if you're a lurker here and you haven't subscribed,
do it for my birthday.
Do it now. Make Nelle happy.
I'm pretty happy.
You're pretty happy anyway. Anyway, this is our Friday reads and rambles and whatnot. Look, what we want to do at the start of all these Friday reads is give somebody a shout out and like somebody that is doing awesome.
Yeah, we all talk about the things that we have in common, and we have in common books, but also Booktube. So
yeah. So anyway, so we did a shout out last week, and you can have a look at that and see that. But this week we'd like to shout out Janae at Coffee and Copyright. She just has an amazing channel. In particular, she does these things called coffee chats, where she just talks about issues. There's one that she posted earlier this week about TBRs and why she thinks they're evil and horrible for her.
they are evil. I do agree.
Yeah, you guys, you share a lot of opinions on TBRs, but personal preferences, I mean.
Yeah.
But she's such a thoughtful and such an intelligent booktuber, and she's funny as well, so you should check her out. She reads literary fiction, historical fiction, classics and romance.
And Scott will link her in the description.
She'll be in the description, and look, she's new, but I do think that a few people have already kind of known that she is quality. So,
yeah.
But if you haven't seen her yet, check her out. She's quality. In 12 months' time, she'll be a staple that everybody watches.
Yeah.
All right, that's the shout out section done.
So what did we finish this week?
What did we finish? How many books did you finish this week?
I only finished one book this week.
I finished 3, but you can go first.
Well,
Yeah.
it's not a competition, Scott.
Yeah, but if it was,
Unless
I'd
I'm
be
winning. I finished The Binding this week, and I don't have a copy to show you because we're away. It was awesome. I'm really glad I read it. I sped through it, read it super fast, which is always a sign that the plot makes me happy. I think there were definitely there was some predictability to the plot, but in that sort of, it was quite a comforting thing. I really liked the characters. The world was fascinating. I thought it was a corker. Katie compared it to Watchmaker from Filigree Street, and it didn't have, I don't think it quite had the same level of whimsy. It was a little bit more bleak.
Serious.
Yeah, a bit serious. Which was fine. It was neither a good nor a bad thing, but it's just like a difference, I guess, between the feel. I loved it. It was good.
I'm actually currently reading that one. But I think I'm going to end up with a different opinion than you.
Well, that's often the case.
That is often the case. For me, I'm about, I don't know, a third of the way through.
You can talk about that in currently reading then.
Yeah, I will. But I thought I'd talk about the same book together. Yeah?
Okay.
I'm breaking the rules.
You're breaking the structure of the video.
I know.
It hurts me in my soul.
It does. But why would you talk about the same book twice?
For fun.
For fun. Anyway. Well, fine. We'll save it for later. I have a different opinion to Nelle, and I will justify it later in the currently reads.
Yes. What did you finish this week?
I finished The Trumpet Major by Thomas Hardy. Now, this is one of Hardy's lesser well-known
Yeah. I hadn't heard of it.
You hadn't heard of it. So I like how Hardy gets your typical romantic triangle. What's it called? Lover's triangle. I can't think of the name.
Love triangle.
Love triangle. Thank you. And he perverts it quite a lot. And this is another example of that. But this book it lacked in a few little things that Hardy did. The main character's name was Anne Garland.
Well, that's the most boring Hardy name I've ever heard.
Let's face it. The last book I read, Eustacia was the main character. The book before it's Bathsheba. There's a Cytherea,
And now we've got
Elfrida,
Anne. Maybe someone said Hardy. I can't pronounce any of the names of your heroines.
And the male love interests in this novel, right? There are 3 of them. Mm-hmm. So it's a
square.
It's a square, but it's anyway.
But it's a heterosexual square, meaning it's not a square.
Yeah, meaning that 2 people are going to be very upset, or that Anne is going to get around a bit more than is acceptable in those times. I'm all fine with
power
it.
To her.
But
anyway.
John Loveday and Robert or Bob Loveday are brothers, and I think those names
are Loveday. Yeah.
That's the least Hardy. If it was there, that would be the least Hardy names you could pick. Feistus Derryman is a proper Hardy name. It's not a completely out there Hardy name, but I give my tick of approval for the Hardy names.
Okay.
The problem I had with this book is that from the beginning, Feistus is wooing Anne, and Feistus is a bit of a prick, and we don't want Feistus to win, right? And Bob and John have this thing where they're brothers and they're nice to each other, and John likes her, and Bob's like, you can have her, and then Bob likes her, and he's like, oh, and then John steps back. Except the thing is that they're both a bit of a prick too. Mm-hmm. And in comparison to Feistus, who is a budding young rapist, they are lovely chaps, right? But there's cheating and stuff going on and all this sort of stuff, and it's just not.
So she's better off not.
She's better off not, which is often the case. The other thing, I read something online when I just wanted to check a name, and I googled it, and I read something, and I found out something about the end that I wasn't happy with. This is probably comparable to Under the Green Tree. If you are a Hardy fan, I would say that it's a similar story to Dick and Fancy. I gave it 4 stars. It was fun. It was enjoyable. It wasn't mind-blowing. It wasn't mind-blowing, and it just lacked in a few Hardy details that I would normally. It was a bit weak. Needed a bit more flavour. Watered down, but it was good. Anyway, the next novel I finished was. I forgot it. And that's it. I finished. I'm going to review these 2 together. I finished Mother Beloved by Outhine. I'll put the link in the description. I can't think of the name. It's a collection of short stories from Laos. And I finished the Chronicles of a Blood Merchant by Yahua.
Which you stole from my TBR.
I did steal it from your TBR. The reason I want to review these together is they are both subversive literature. They are both. So Yahua wrote Blood Merchant during the Maoist period of China, and was critical of Chairman Mao in the book. And
so it had to be sneaky.
Sneaky or die. Yeah. That's the sort of choice he had, and that is exactly the same problem we had with our Laos book, except it wasn't Mao. It was Pol Pot. Was that Cambodia?
That's Cambodia.
Who was the Laotian dictator that killed people?
Laotian.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
What was quite interesting is the short stories from Laos were very dry and sparse and bleak and didn't really say a lot. And if you didn't know they were subversive, they would just be boring as anything, right?
Bit of context goes a long way.
A bit of context. It was the key to unlocking it. And I did this as a buddy read with Roz, and Roz gave me some ideas on the first short story. And once I saw her unlock it, I'm like, that's how you do it.
Makes sense now.
And I just, like, thanks for the example, Roz. I'm doing this with all future short stories, and suddenly it was much better. So really glad that I had Roz along with me for this buddy read, because
I'm looking forward to reading that one, because I've got yours and Roz's commentary, so I'm just gonna treat that as an audio guide and listen as I go along.
You should have done it with us.
I should have, but I didn't.
But yeah, so that was enjoyable. But essentially, I found the puzzle of unlocking what they meant
to be more interesting.
Yeah. So I gave it 3 stars.
Seems fair.
The Chronicles of the Blood Merchant I also gave 3 stars, and I really struggle with this book because our main character is a man who marries a woman who he likes. The woman she has 2 suitors, and this man sort of woos her from a position where he probably shouldn't have won her, but does some dirty tricks to win her that aren't actually dirty tricks, but like bribes the father with things and stuff. Anyway.
Stuff and things.
Anyway, the father made the decision on who she would marry. She is quite willing to go along with the father's decision, but the first man is not so willing and rapes her.
Oh.
And he doesn't rape her at knife point or anything like that, but he rapes her, right?
I mean, I don't know who that clarification was for, but
it's for the book,
okay,
right? Because
you don't feel like the author had that understanding.
Well, because this poor woman is chastised for having a son that is not her husband's.
Right. And
she's chastised by her sons for not biting her or kicking or any, and like she is, called a prostitute at times and is completely mistreated. The father, on the other hand, is a complete arsehole to her as well. And I found that very unempathetic to her position. But the thing is, it's not without purpose in the novel, but it kind of is without understanding of why it's shit. Do you know what I mean? And it's also metaphorical about other things, and it's such a clusterfuck of different things going on that I can't tell you whether it is completely unsympathetic and problematic, whether it is talking about Chinese society and attitudes and just accurately portraying them, or whether this is just an allegory for something else that I've not quite seen, an allegory, a metaphor. There's all sorts of things going on in this novel along those lines. The main character essentially sells his blood to a hospital whenever his family are poor. But the relationship with his oldest son is toxic and horrible, and it's clearly a representation of the relationship of Mao and the people. And at some point it goes from being toxic to not being toxic, and there is no... I didn't feel
event.
that.
Yeah.
I didn't feel why. Like there's an event, but I just...
Yeah.
I can get it from the one character's point of view. I cannot get it from the other character's point of view. So I think that there is a bit lacking in this that maybe is me not just like when I read Thomas Hardy, there's a whole lot of Victorian cultural norms that I just know and accept, right?
Yeah.
And maybe I'm just not knowing and accepting the cultural norms in Chinese literature. Anyway, I gave it 3 stars. It was an interesting read. They are my 3 books. So what are you currently reading now?
I'm still reading Ring Shout because that's my drive to work audiobook, and I didn't drive to work this week. Not once.
Not once. We drove in to get one and stuff.
Yeah. Which means I was the passenger and therefore not in charge of what we listened to. Also, not forcing my half-listened to book on Scott. So you can listen to the end and only the end. So we were listening. We continued our audio read of Prism instead.
Prism by Booktube with Simon.
Yeah, so we are a bit further along in that. And then the other book I am reading currently is The Prophets. I've started The Prophets.
Which I have also started. Yes. Were you going to talk about these books at all?
I feel like I talked about Prism and Ring Shout a bit last week, so I don't really have anything more to say on Ring Shout because I didn't read anymore. And
I think we got heaps further into Prism this
we did get heaps further into Prism. My general impressions are still the same though, without getting too specific.
Yeah, I think if you follow Booktube with Simon and Amy, and you should, and you heard that Simon wrote a book and it was a thriller, and you imagined what it was, then you're correct. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's
but
exactly Simon's brain.
Very well done.
Yeah.
In that.
Yeah.
Like, that is what you're getting. You're not getting literary fiction out of this. You're getting a thriller by
Simon.
By Simon.
Who has Simon's personality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it comes across, and it's very entertaining.
It is. It's quite good. I'm really enjoying listening to it with you. It's good fun.
Now, The Prophets is a buddy read with Courtney Ferreter.
Which came about basically because we happened to be reading it at the same time.
Yeah, we were finishing our buddy read of Under the Yadala Tree, and Courtney saw that you just hauled it, and we started chatting about it, and suddenly we were doing another buddy read.
Yeah, hopefully of a book that we all enjoy this time.
Yeah, so I'm going to keep my thoughts private until after our Voxer chat with Courtney.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Also, I haven't actually... We've had quite a full-on week this week, and I haven't actually read a lot of that yet.
Yeah. So that's all you're reading.
Yeah.
I'm still reading the Last Wheel of Time book. I've only made a few chapters inroad of that. And basically every time I mention that book I say, it's what it says on the cover. Like,
yeah.
I've got that.
You're reading The Binding.
I'm reading The Binding. So I found this really slow to begin with.
Did you?
Yeah. Everybody who has reviewed this book has said it is a world where people's memories can be taken and put it into books, and you don't have those memories anymore. And my God, it takes the book a long time to actually say that.
Yeah, but...
I just said it then in 10 seconds.
But the point is that the central character doesn't really understand that, and it's...
Yeah, I felt it was very dragged out.
But it's not like there's nothing going on in the meantime.
There's not a lot going on. There's an event to further the plot.
I think you're a whack job.
You think I'm a whack job?
Yeah.
I'll see what the rest of the book does.
What?
What am I up to? Yeah, I'll tell you what I'm up to. Yeah.
Did we talk about spoilers the other day?
Yeah, we did. And thank you to, also by this stage, Daniel and Beth Ann have both done our spoiler tag, so thank you very much for doing
Yay!
that. We actually, I need to comment on both of those videos, so we'll do that soon. And the last book I am reading... No, I have to look it up. Completely gone.
You don't know what you're reading?
No, there's too many of them. I had 7 on the go, and it was too many. I think I'm about a 2 or a 3.
Maybe that's why you can't appreciate the excellence that is The Binding. Maybe there's too many books in your brain.
Oh, I didn't mention, I DNFed the Yakubian building. I was reading that last week, and I said at the time that I felt it was, look,
heading towards that.
If I have that much description of a woman's body in a book, the book better be called My Throbbing Loins. It's just, I'll appreciate it in erotica. I'll appreciate it in like a romantic sex scene. As a work of literary fiction, when you're describing breasts and buttocks as a woman's primary features, it's not telling me how big her tits are. Does not tell me what sort of character she is going. That's not going to be a plot point.
Maybe it is.
Maybe her giant tits will save her from a gunshot or something.
Maybe she'll fall face first into the dirt by the weight of her poor boobs. I don't know why all tits in fiction are weightless. Why? They're much more likely to make you fall over than save you from the wall.
They've had an operation that they can inflate them and
they're all helium.
Yeah. Anyway, so that was my Egyptian book for the Invisible Cities readathon, and I picked that book because I sort of knew it existed.
Because it was on my TBR, it was on my bookshelf. That's two. He's yoinked them off my bookshelf and slated them.
Anyway, I then had a bit of a search through Egyptian literature and found a book that I thought I would like. It's called A Woman at Point Zero. It's by Noel El Sawadi. And this is a story about a woman who is a prostitute who has, we assume, murdered a man, but we don't quite know why. She's on...
Because, why not?
Death row. She's on death row and we don't quite know why, but we assume she's murdered a man because of...
okay, that makes much more sense.
The very first paragraph of this book is something like, if you asked me, I've wanted to kill all the men I met. I've wanted to beat them over their head with a stone, but I've never had the courage to do so until now. I don't know whether this is a book, whether this is fictionalized non-fiction, whether it is, whether it's just fiction or what, but it is told from the point of view of like a journalist who is trying to talk to her in death row, and she's found out she's going to be executed in the morning, so she's asked the journalist to come in so she can tell her story.
So is it set in Egypt?
It's set in an Egyptian jail. I believe it's set in Egypt. To be honest, it's set in a jail, and I don't know where it is. But it must be set in Egypt. But that's an assumption. So far, so good. I'm reading this as an ebook on Scribd. I'm about a third of the way through it. I like this.
Awesome.
That'll be my aim, to finish that one while we're here. What are you going to pick up next, Nelle?
I don't know, because I'm a mood reader, but we brought a bunch of books, so I know that once I'm up to the checkpoint with the Prophets, if I don't just keep going with that, which is a possibility, I have to choose from... I've got one more book to choose from. I've got the March pick for Red Under the Bed Book Club. And I've also got Shuggy. Scott's brought Burnt Sugar, which I could just steal.
If you do, you steal my book. It's not like we're at home and I've got a bookcase.
And it's The Housekeeper and The Professor. I might steal Scott's book because it seems to upset him, and that...
But why would you steal my book when I don't have another book?
You've got plenty of other books.
I could reread Shuggy.
You could reread Shuggy. Or have you read The Housekeeper and The Professor yet?
I haven't, but I have read The Memory Police, and
this is supposed to be completely different.
Yeah.
I probably won't steal Scott's book.
Good.
But
you're a horrible human being.
Whatever. It's my birthday weekend. I can do whatever I want.
Yeah. Well, I think that sums up our Friday reads, doesn't it?
That's it.
Again, 500 subscribers in 2 days makes Nelle happy. So if you're not subscribed to us,
please
hit the subscribe button.
Hit subscribe.
Watch like 4 people like unsubscribe from us out of hate. That's bad karma.
Please don't. That would make me sad on my birthday, and it would make Scott sad, which is even worse because then I have to put up with him being a grump. I'm going to go and fill the spa.
Yeah.
Have some champagne.
I'm going to edit this.
I don't have to. Bye!